Welcome back to the temple, Lord Shishio.
This is a rather fancy welcome, even for me, Hoji.
Welcome back, Lord Shishio!
Lord Shishio! Lord Shishio! Lord Shishio!
I have to admit, it feels pretty good to finally be back in Kyoto. Come on, let's go, Himura!
Kyoto. I've wandered all over Japan the 10 years since the revolution. But in all those years, I've never thought that I would return to this place. During the chaos of the revolution, there wasn't a single day that buildings weren't burning. The battlefield was a portrait of hell. And that hell was Kyoto.
Himura!
Huh?
What are you spacing out again for? Wake up! We're in my place already! This is our restaurant, Aoiya.
A restaurant?
Yeah, we're pretty famous here in Kyoto. Hey, I'm home, Gramps!
Oh, it's you, Misao! Welcome back, Misao! I've been worried about you because you're away longer than usual.
Sorry about that. A lot of stuff happened.
Oh?
Oh!
Oh, this is what you get for being late.
Miss, welcome home. We missed you.
Misao!
Young miss!
Welcome back.
I think you've gotten taller.
She always grows when she's away.
I guess I should be on my way.
Hold it right there. Huh? We haven't been able to thank you yet. Please, make yourself at home here. Be our guest, Mr. Himura the Batosa. Even if you hide your cross-shaped scar, people who know you will know you.
But, sir...
I'll listen to the details inside. For now, why don't you come in?
I think I'm gonna go take a bath and change my clothes.
Sure, good idea. Well, now. During your travels with her, didn't Misao mention her involvement with the Oniwaban group at any point?
Are you trying to say...
It's precisely as you suspect. When I was in my younger days, I, Ninji Kashiwazaki, was also a member. My code name, when I was in charge of this area, was Okina. I opened this restaurant to serve as our Kyoto headquarters, but ironically the main branch in the Edo government folded before we did. We've managed to do very well as a temporary hotel for our comrades who were out of work after the revolution.
I see. That's why Aoshi decided to leave Miss Misao here with you in Kyoto.
You're an acquaintance of Lord Aoshi's?
We've crossed paths. It's probably best that I tell you the whole story.
So that's what happened. Hanya and the others are dead, and Lord Aoshi has disappeared without a trace.
I'd like you to keep this a secret from Miss Misao for a little while longer.
Yes, I think that's for the best. Mr. Himura, if you don't mind, I'd like you to tell me why someone who has never set foot in Kyoto once in the past 10 years has now returned. Could your decision have something to do with your successor, Makoto Shishio? Then it's the ghosts of the past. I used to know the most about the light and the dark sides of Kyoto, and I still do today. When I heard the rumors that he was still alive and plotting something in Kyoto, I found it hard to believe. But now you've come back, I'm beginning to see things in a whole new light. So, let's join forces! I can be a valuable ally to you as a former Oniwaban group member!
Oh?
I like Kyoto the way it is now, and I won't allow anyone to harm my precious city. In order to protect it, I'll stand up once more and take my role as a soldier!
Please hold on a moment, would you?
Come now, there's no reason to worry about the Aoiya. Everyone here was a part of the Oniwaban group, and each one of them is perfectly capable of defending himself or herself.
But, sir...
I won't take no for an answer, Mr. Himura. And Misao can take care of herself, too, since I'm the one who raised her.
I guess you're the type that likes to talk and not listen.
That's most certainly true.
Thank you for your hospitality. May I ask a favor?
Of course, I'll do whatever I can.
Would it be possible to ask you to look for some people for me? There's Shaku Arai and Seijiro Hiko. I'd like you to find those two as soon as possible.
Rise and shine, Himura! Oh, you're already up. I wanted to see you drool in your sleep.
Oh, Miss Misao, that outfit of yours...
It's what I usually wear here in Kyoto. It really wouldn't be proper to run around my hometown in that ninja outfit, you know.
It's a nice day, isn't it? Here.
Hey, Gramps.
Good morning, Sorokina.
We've found the whereabouts of one of the two men you're looking for, Mr. Himura. But to be more precise, one of them is no longer alive. Shaku Arai, the swordsmith who forged the reverse blade sword, has been deceased for 8 years.
The swordsmith. I see. Imura wants a new reverse blade sword. But if the swordsmith is gone, then the reverse blade sword will never...
However, there is still some hope.
Huh?
Shaku left behind a son who has taken his father's place in the craft. Shall we pay him a visit, Mr. Himura?
Thank you, but it'll be dangerous for you to travel with me in broad daylight.
Mr. Himura, your opponent is Shishio. He'll find us sooner or later, no matter what. Shall we go?
Sorokina!
Mr. Himura, you'll be fighting Shishio and his men for the sake of the people of this country. You must stand firm and look forward at all times. That is the path that a man of justice should take.
How was that? Pretty good, huh?
Gramps may be a little silly sometimes, but don't let that fool you. He was once the top candidate to be the next head of the Oniwaban group. But he said that this was an age where the young should shine, and he suggested that Lord Aoshi be the next leader instead. And Gramps was put in charge of scouting the Kyoto area.
Shaku Arai, a swordsmith whose name was well known during the Revolution. He was very skilled, but as he made more swords, his focus began to shift from swords that cut well to swords that kill, and he became an outcast.
A swordsmith who focused on forging swords that could kill also made a reverse blade sword that couldn't kill? That doesn't make any sense.
If you were to examine a man's entire life, you would see that it's full of contradictions, right, Mr. Himura? Shaku's son Seiko was a man who everyone thought would carry the old tradition into the new era. But the demand for swords is gone, and he couldn't support himself. Now he makes a living making everyday household items. Perhaps he will be able to create a new reverse blade sword.
Excuse me, I'd like to speak with Sir Seiko Arai, if I may.
Hi!
Oh, that him?
I don't know.
Yeah, shake a hand. What's he mean?
Shake hands?
Oh, I see you want to shake, don't you?
Don't bother the customers, Iori. Well, may I help you find what you're looking for?
I'm very interested in purchasing a large kitchen knife, that I am.
But Mr. Himura...
Although I'd like to try one out first, that I would.
Sure.
That I would.
Thank you.
Huh?
Oh!
It's one piece again.
My word!
But how is that possible?
Modoshigiri, I've never seen it. It requires that you cut something without destroying any of its cell structure, and then one is able to put it back together. It's a very difficult technique that requires a skilled swordsman and a great sword. But to be able to create such quality in a kitchen knife, that's Shaku's son, all right.
That makes it final, then. It'll be Seiko Arai who'll make the new reverse blade sword for Himura.
Ma'am, would it be possible for me to see Sir Seiko personally? I'd like Sir Seiko to create a new sword for me, if it's at all possible.
I see. But,
Excuse me.
honey,
Hello, I'm Seiko Arai, the one you're looking for.
You mean you're the swordsmith Seiko Arai? You sure don't look like you.
I hear that a lot from people. I overheard your story in the distance. You'd like me to make a sword for you, isn't that right? I'm sorry, but I'm not in the sword-making business anymore. So I hope it's all right if I decline.
Huh?
I'm sorry.
Come on!
What's your reason, young man, if you don't mind?
You're probably aware that my father became exclusively devoted to making swords that kill, aren't you? Father often said during the Revolution, the sword that I make will create a new era. Under that belief, many lives were taken away by the swords that my father created. How does death create a new era? I never completely understood what my father was trying to do. Iori, no! That was a close call.
sorry, that was my fault.
It's all right. We're all in the Meiji era now, and this era is supposed to be a time of peace. The samurai have all thrown their swords away, so that's why I've thrown my swordsmithing days away. And I decided that I would live peacefully by making useful things for people.
I see. Then you're the exact opposite of your father because you're a pacifist.
Well, I'm not exactly sure that I would label my feelings like that, but I do love peace. Is there anyone who doesn't feel that way?
Well, I don't know. But I do love peace. Is there anyone who doesn't feel that way?
Well, I'm not exactly sure that I would label my feelings like that, but I do love peace. Is there anyone who doesn't feel that way?
You can't keep thinking that way forever! Sure, things may be peaceful right now, but if you just open your eyes, you'd see there's some people out there who are trying to destroy this...
Sir Seiko, I apologize for asking the impossible of you. I think we'll be going now that I do.
Are you really sure about this, Himura? So what are you gonna do about a reverse blade sword?
The reverse blade sword is a weapon that can't be used to kill, but it's still an instrument of violence, and it wouldn't be right to ask him to create a new one for me. We'll have to continue the search for a new reverse blade sword.
That swordsman. I think there must be a good reason why he's looking for you. You should think about giving him your father's last sword, since you seem so against making a new one for him.
No, this was the right thing to do. Up you go. Swords are no longer necessary in this peaceful Meiji era we live in.
I found the Batosai. Inform Lord Shishio immediately.
Understood.
That guy's a big softy. Not only does he look wimpy, but what he says is wimpy too. I'm sure we could have gotten him to do it if you had just pushed him harder.
It's not right to disrupt Sir Seiko's peaceful way of life just for my own selfish reasons, Miss Masao.
Yeah, you're like a wimp too!
Even if we forced him to make one, it will be a worthless sword that lacks the spirit of the swordsmith within. If one tried using that sword against Sojiro, who broke the original one, let alone Shishio, Mr. Himura is going to die. It must not be a reverse blade sword in name only. The new reverse blade sword must be something that is better than the old one. I can't believe that a girl I spent all these years raising didn't realize that right away.
You got a bone to pick with me, Grandpa!
Why don't you settle down? We're doing everything we possibly can.
Ow,
stop that! It hurts! Ow!
It's better this way. If Sir Seiko were to make my reverse blade sword, Shishio's men would not stand idly by. I don't want to get that peaceful family involved in all of this. Or the Aoya, for that matter. Even if they are seasoned veterans of the Oniwaban group, some of them will be hurt. I'll leave as soon as I find the other person I'm looking for.
I trust that you handled everything that I asked you to do while I was away, Hoji.
Yes, all of the artillery that you ordered has been purchased. By the way, Lord Shishio, weren't you supposed to arrive here with Sojiro?
I asked him to gather the Jupongatana in the eastern half of Japan. There are many over there that are hard to find, like Anji. As for the ones who are in the western half of the country, I issued the requests myself.
Lord!
Right. As soon as all of the Jupongatana arrive in Kyoto, we'll start the takeover.
Did you hear that, my comrades in arms? It's the time for us to stand and fight! Each of you must make sure you're prepared for this! We are ready, Lord Shishio!
Lord Shishio! Lord Shishio! Lord Shishio! Lord Shishio!
I'll contact the rest of our loyal followers who are scattered throughout the country.
I still have a few things to tell you about. It will be a little while before all of the Jupongatana gather here, and I'm sure that they're thirsty for blood right now. So the first assignment I'm going to give the Jupongatana is to find Himura the Batosai and get rid of that imperialist once and for all.
But Lord Shishio, hold on a minute. The Jupongatana is our special attack squad, and they all have important duties. It's unwise to send them all after the Batosai. There's a possibility they could lose.
I admit I was concerned about that before, but there's nothing to worry about. The Jupongatana aren't that weak.
That's right. Yumi's got the bull by the horns. There ain't no way the Jupongatana could lose to one Manslayer.
You're here early, Cho the Sword Hunter.
Well, I live in Osaka after all. But I wanted to hurry over to show off this gorgeous sword that I got to tell you all the truth. This is Masayuki Bizen's masterpiece. Of course, I had to liberate it from a certain swordsman first. What do y'all think of it? Look how brightly it gleams even though it's been soaked in the blood of hundreds of folk. It's so pretty it makes me tingle all over.
Don't get me wrong, Cho, but there's something very unique about you when it comes to swords.
What's Himura the Batosai been up to lately, Hoji?
We haven't determined his whereabouts yet. However, our information network suggests that he contacted Seiku, the son of the swordsman Shaku Arai, just the other day.
He must be looking to replace the reverse blade sword that Sojiro destroyed. And?
Seiku refused to forge him a reverse blade sword. In addition, there seems to be one last sword left behind by his father, but Seiku didn't let him have that one either.
Really? The last sword of the Revolution's master swordsmith Shakurai. I had absolutely no idea. I want it.
An important battle is coming. Don't do anything stupid, Cho.
I gotcha.
No matter what they say, we're gonna need a new sword right away.
A broom? Are you talking about my head, kid? You're a funny boy. Can you tell me where your daddy is?
Huh? Papa! Broom!
Good afternoon. Is there something specific you need, sir?
Yeah, I'm looking for Shakuarai's last sword.
The last sword? My father made?
Yeah, I heard some rumors around these parts that the last sword created by Shakurai, the Revolution's master swordsmith, is kept somewhere here, and I'd like to see it for myself.
Where could he have heard that? I have no idea what you're talking about, sir. Most of my father's swords have disappeared in this day and age. And I don't have any of his works here.
What?
Huh?
Well, I guess those were just empty rumors then, weren't they? I'm terribly sorry for all the trouble. It's just that I love swords, and I actually became a swordsman so that I could use all sorts of them, in all sorts of ways.
What are you doing?
Wait a second and you'll see. That little trick was called the Sakasai Noto, and there aren't many guys around who could do it. I gotta admit to you that I'm a bit shocked to hear that you don't have the last sword, 'cause I guess I like Shaku's the most of any of them around, and I could have sworn he left it with his son, you know. I can't take it. I'm in such a state that I might slip the second time now.
Iori!
Darling!
Let me tell you all that it's not very often that someone gets to see me use the same move twice. It's quite a treat, so why don't you all just sit back and enjoy the show? Giddy up!
Please don't do it! My father-in-law's sword isn't kept here!
Azusa!
We donated that sword to the priest at Hakusan Shrine a long time ago, and they put it on display there.
So Shakuarai's last sword does exist. You folks sure are rotten for lying to me. I think I'll have a look-see for myself, just to make sure. And because you all are so nasty to tell the truth, I'm not very comfortable trusting what you're saying to me now. So I'll borrow your kid.
Iori!
If you're telling the truth, it'll all be over soon. But if you guys make a big fuss out of this and call the cops or something, I don't need to mention what'll happen to your boy, do I?
Somehow I gotta convince that guy to make a new reverse blade sword.
Why did you tell him, Azusa? It was created to be a holy sword. And it's the only one that my father made that hasn't been stained with blood. If that last sword is also stained, then my father will truly be known as a man who created weapons of murder instead of the swordsmith that he was.
But what would have happened if I hadn't told him where it was? Your father's reputation is important, but right now Iori's life is in danger.
Didn't you see the look in that guy's eyes? Those weren't the eyes of someone who loves swords. Those were the eyes of someone who loves to kill with swords. If someone like him gets a hold of my father's sword, then they won't be satisfied until they try the sword out on whoever happens to be nearby.
No!
It's been so many years since I decided to stop making swords. Why did this have to happen after all this time?
You're the girl from earlier.
Tell me what happened here.
But how are you...
Just hurry up and spit it out!
Welcome back, Misao. How long will you be in Kyoto this time?
No time to talk. I gotta get a message to Gramps right away.
Huh? Why, it's a messenger pigeon from old Shige.
I see.
This is how we sometimes pass along information. This is strange. It's a note from Misao. It says Seiku's son has been abducted by one of Shishio's men. Hold on, Himura! Your reverse blade sword is broken and useless. If you go, there's no way you can fight with your full potential! You'll be captured as well! Himura!
Wow, I'm curious to see what kind of sword Shakuara's final masterpiece is. You don't look like you're here to visit the shrine. Tell me who you are.
Let go of that boy.
A cross-shaped scar. Well, you must be that famous Batosai the Manslayer I've heard all about. I guess you're here because you want to get Shaku's last sword for yourself. Forget it. I don't care who tries to get in the way of me and my sword collection. I just gotta get rid of them!